we will start from the questions from wave 1 first to give priority for questions from wave 1.
Yes.
Alright, so we have the following: light in the Quran. You mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to the creation of the heavens and the earth as opposed to the establishment of light and darkness. Could you please expand on this distinction? Hold on, so there's a follow-up. So if we can zoom out a little bit so that we can see the full question. So I understand that darkness occurs as the result of the absence of light, and as a result is a consequence and need to be created, just like vacuum is the absence of matter. However, for there to be light, it needs to be created. As you mentioned, the notion of the created light and creative light, how then does the Quran establish a difference between the creation of all things and the ja'al of darkness of light? Jazakumullah for clarifying this subtle point.
Thank you very much. الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور. God is the one who created the skies and the earth. So earth is created, the skies are created. وجعل الظلمات والنور. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say خلق الظلمات والنور. He says جعل الظلمات والنور. Why? Because ظلمة as such is not created. ظلمة is darkness. First of all, we don't have absolute darkness. We don't have zero light. Zero light is not created. We should remember. Zero light is not created. Is nothing. Anything created, anything which comes from God, has some light. This light compared to a higher light is dark. Not absolute dark, relative dark. So, it's more accurate to say made darkness and light instead of saying created darkness and light. Like shadow. Is shadow created? No, but we have shadow. It's not that, for example, if you have a person who is standing and then he has a shadow, two things are created. One is himself, one is his shadow. No. Shadow is when you have less light because this person is acting as an obstacle before the source of light. So behind, for example, this person, then there is less light, that is his shadow. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَعَلَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ. It's more precise. Even if you say خَلَقَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ, people understand perhaps, but to be more precise, you can say جَعَلَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ.
Okay, so the next question is about the irada when it is for immaterial beings, the irada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was explained that irada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an attribute of action. As an attribute of action is bound by time and space and conditions that must first be met in the realm of creation, alam al-khalq. However, in alam al-amr, the realm of command, the irada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal. There's a series of questions around this. Does this still mean that the irada of Allah in the realm of command is still an attribute of action? That's question number one. I can ask them perhaps all together or one by one, whichever one you prefer.
Yeah. You can always take irada as an attribute of action, or you can take irada as meaning love, and then it can be a quality of a sense as well. But most of the time when we use irada, we use it as a quality of action, something which is not always there. And when Allah wants, إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا. In this sense, it's quality of action, because if it was irada as a quality of essence, iza doesn't mean. It would be eternal if it is quality of essence. So in this sense, إذا أراد شيئا, this is quality of action, and it is for both عالم الخلق and عالم الأمر. Even for mujarradat, we need this irada as a quality of action. The only difference is that in mujarradat, his command would not require anything else. You don't need to have material conditions fulfilled or obstacles to be removed. Only his irada would be sufficient, and there is no need for anything else, and therefore we call them alamul amr. Just he says be, and they are. But for alamul khalq, before he says be, certain other things have to come together. Like, for example, if you want to have a flower, Allah would say be to flower when there is soil, there is sunshine, there is water, and other things.
Okay, the second part to this question is, and just a confirmation, so even though the irada in the realm of command is eternal, because in the realm of command things are not bound by time and space, since it is with relation to creation, it becomes an attribute of action.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, does this mean that the Holy Spirit and angels, so there's these following questions. Does this mean that the Holy Spirit and angels always existed? And if so, what was the purpose of the Holy Spirit and angels before the existence of human beings?
According to our philosophers, and according to our scholars who have accepted philosophical approach to these issues, angels are mujarrad. Muhaddisin may not accept this. If you ask someone like Sheikh Saduq, for example, he may not accept this. But if you ask someone like Allama Tabatabai, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, Mullah Sadra, they would say this, that angels and Jibreel, for example, as archangel, they are mujarrad. What does it mean? It means that they are not material. They don't have potential. Everything that they have is actualized. They are as perfect as they can be. It's not that they have waiting condition. Therefore, time would not apply to them. Time is for something that goes through changes. Time is for something which has potentials, is not yet fully actual. So angels are not limited by time. There is no past, present, future for them. So their relation with human beings is the relation of something immaterial with something material. It's like two parallel worlds. We are in the world of materials, they are in another world. So what was the role of angels before we are created? This is not a question which is perhaps very difficult to answer. When you say before, what do you mean by before? The situation is always the same. When we are, we have a connection with them. When we are not, we don't have connection with them. But they're always the same. There are many ways that we benefit from angels when we are here. It's like the sun is shining, and when you go on the sun, you would benefit. If you are not there, or you are not created at all, you don't benefit from that sun.
Okay, and then there's a last part here. So going back up to the question. So there's a follow-up here that says, Did human beings always exist, and it is just that they came into their bodies when they are conceived in this world? When did Alastu bi Rabbikum happen in time, or did it happen in a realm beyond time and space?
For human beings?
Yes, when we have that this part that where Allah says, "Am I not your Lord?" to human beings, all of them, and He asked them to bear witness that He is their Lord. That time, the human being, the human soul, me, and you, anybody else, the human soul, that human being, is that human being also created at some point in time? And if they are created at some point in time, then how do we understand the conversation, Alastu bi Rabbikum? When did that happen? Or is that beyond the realm of time and space?
According to Muhaddisin, human spirit is eternal, and when body is created, the spirit belongs to body. According to Muslim philosophers, human spirit is hadith, is not eternal. It's created at a certain stage. But again, here they have difference of opinion. So Ibn Sina, for example, says, Rawhaniyatul Huduth, says that from the beginning human spirit is abstract. And Mullah Sadra says, Jismaniyatul Huduth, Ruhaniyatul Baqa. He says, soul, human soul, comes out of the development and substantial motion of embryo. At a certain time, this physical object would be blessed with a new form, a new surah, which is an-nafsun natiqah, which is human soul. So both Ibn Sina and Mullah Sadra agree that this is hadith, but whether it is Jismaniyatul Hudus or Rohaniyatul Hudus is different. This is different from those who say, no, human spirit is qadim, it's not hadith. So those who say human spirit is qadim, then they say, okay, in the alam of dhar, in the universe of particles, every soul was there, every human spirit was there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked them to bear witness and asked them question. وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ قال ألست بربكم قالوا بلى أن تقولوا يوم القيامة إنا كنا عن هذا غافلين. So they take this literally as a reference to a world before this world in which all the spirits were present and they were asked to bear witness, and they all declared that God is the Lord, so that when they come to dunya and belong to the body, they would not forget this, or they would not become heedless, kafir. According to those who say we are created with body, either as Ibn Sina says or as Mullah Sadra, but anyway we are hadith, then this ayah means something different. I personally, in my humble opinion, I believe that this ayah refers to a new realm, and that is not in time before this world. That is in rank and order before this world. So the physical material world is expanded in time and space. I come after my father comes after my grandfather comes after my grandfather. So we are not present together all the time. Maybe I share some time with my father and grandfather, but anyway, we are coming gradually. And some of us don't see the previous ones or the next generations. We are spread in time. Also, we are spread in a space. We are in this part of the world, some people are in other part of the world. So this is the world of expansion. But if you can bring together this expanded world and bring all of them to one place and one time, then it will become like one particle, dhar. It's a compressed world. In that compressed world, we would have no time and space. Therefore, we would be all together. In that world that we are all together and our life is made one point, then every person is either a believer or not, depending on the balance of his life. And we will all be together. It's like all of us, billions or hundreds of billions of human beings, in the same plane, in the same place and time. But it's no place and time. It's just a moment, like a point. Then, of course, everyone would be able to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they would see everything that is happening also on the Day of Judgment. They are all together. Everything is obvious. And they will be all together. This is my opinion. So therefore, I don't think that we come to this dunya after already having that experience in time, in another place, and after all of us, being shown, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's lordship, and now, we come here to remember, to be questioned, and some people say, so everything is already based on what we have, for example, answered in that world before, so we cannot change. All of these questions would find clear answer with respect when we accept what I said. Anyway, this is an issue that you can study books of tafsir on this ayah, ayatul dhar, but it's not very important in the sense that you must understand what is this ayah, so you are a mu'min. It's not one of the usuluddin or one of the principles of religion that everyone has to understand, because something a little bit in need of philosophical training, and it's just enough to say whatever is the case, I accept. Whatever is in the knowledge of Allah, the case, I accept.
Thank you so much. Looking at the next, so it is 9:18. We have 12 minutes, but it's good to take a general question,
sure.
Because we promised to try to do that. So we have one general question here, and I hope that I don't know if we asked this question or not, but this is the question. What is the fine line between positive scrupulousness and waswasa, obsession? Did we ask this question before, Sheikhna? I know that it has been around, so I'm mixing up between whether it has been asked or whether we just had it in the queue for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember asking this in the webinars. Anyway, I can answer it shortly,
yes,
or quickly. If someone is concerned, is worried, just enough to encourage him to take things seriously, this is good. Just enough to take things seriously. Nothing more than that. For example, I have a guest or few guests, and I want to make sure that I show my hospitality, I make them feel happy, comfortable. So when it comes to cleaning, to cooking, to welcoming, I try to be careful so that I do my job properly. This carefulness, this concern that makes me serious is good. But if it goes out of limits and I become too stressful and too worried, few days before they come, or some people few weeks before their guest comes, they are worried, they are stressed, they cannot do anything else unless they are thinking about this. This is not good. This is a kind of waswasa. The same is with your religious duties, with wuzu, with ghusl, with salat, with hajj. Anything that is encouraging you to be careful and to take things which are important seriously, this is good. And if you don't have this, is bad. You become careless, and the quality gradually goes down. But if this seriousness and carefulness goes out of limit and overwhelms you, and you cannot do things properly, even this thing sometimes you cannot do properly because you are too worried. When you are too worried, you actually make things not good. This is waswasa. And when it comes to religious duties, for sure waswasa is a big obstacle in enjoying our ibadah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us away from waswasa. When you make wuzu, when you make ghusl, when you are saying salat, when you are going for hajj, this waswasa doesn't let you to enjoy your ibadah or focus on the meanings and the spirits of the ibadah. And your time is wasted, and at the end you don't feel happy, and na'udhu billah, sometimes then you start disliking or even hating this act. This is all bad. Normally, people who have waswasa are good people, are very nice people, people who are very responsible, very careful, many times very intelligent people. So to have waswasa is not because you are a bad person, but just you have missed the proper balance. And the solution is, as soon as possible, immediately, not just delay it for a few days, immediately stop paying attention to waswasa. Just see what normal mu'minin do, that's enough. If they spend 2 minutes on wuzu, that's enough. If they spend 5 minutes on ghusl, that's enough. Even if you are thinking, and even if you are sure that your wuzu is not done properly, don't worry. That's better than a wuzu that takes 1 hour. Only by ignoring waswasa we can overcome. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all of us, because I myself had some kind of waswasa, and sometimes was very, very difficult for me, and alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped me. But I really understand. Of course, mine didn't get to that very extreme, but I can understand, because I had some experience and I know it's very painful. And people who have waswasa around should understand them, should not force them, should not, make life difficult for them or make mockery of them, na'udhu billah. Just be kind and caring and tell them, please, just act as normal, as average. All ulama say, all marajis say, that the one who has waswas should not pay attention to his waswas. That is your religious duty.
Thank you so much. So that would be the last question. We have a few more minutes before the end. Perhaps we can have the greetings and salams and exchange between the students and teacher.
Sure.
So we will start with my brother Mahmoud from Montreal.